the next topic that we have coming up right now is what's next in the timeline review. And then we have it opened up for a Q&A session, like, and finalization of like some final comments too. All right, well, it's 2:43. So Karen, Ron, myself. Karen, would you like to lead that? And I need to see, I'm not seeing Ron here. Let me check for Ron over here. Yeah, okay. I'm not seeing, there's Ron. I see Ron. There he is.
All right. I'm going to, give me a second. I'm sorry, I should have brought these up before. I'm just going to bring up the timeline documents that I had used yesterday, and we can take a look at those. Just give me 1 second to get there. But really, as I look for those, I will babble at you a little bit. But so this current phase that we're in started in April, the actual putting together of the agency views that we're using this go around. This is expected at this point in time based on all of the work that we have to do. Karen, and all the work that we've done in the past. Yeah.
You're not showing your screen.
I know I'm not showing the screen. Okay. I'm looking for something to bring up. So what we're expecting with this particular phase is that it will take approximately 22 months, and that is based on, sorry, this was very deep. All right. Oops. All right, I'm gonna bring that up. Give me just a second. I'm gonna bring that up. Okay, there we go. So here's the timeline that I brought up yesterday and talked to you about. So first leg of the project, phase 1, where we did part of the chem analytical labs and the cement lab, took us from November 2017 to July of 2019. So about 20 months there, I think. And then the next phase, we implemented the rest of the cement and the chem analytical labs. That took us 9 months. So this phase, we have doubled the amount of agency views. We have fewer reports, but most of those are summary reports. And we are expecting this to bring us through March of, or at least up until March of 2022. So that's our current timeline. So we expect to continue on with Ag and BIT for a couple of years. One thing that we will be working with the business folks to do is to make some decisions about, do we continue on this path of implementing all of aggregates and bituminous, or do we break this up? Do we break it into Ag and BIT? Do we break off parts of it? How do we want to implement something? And we would like to be able to ensure that we are able to move something into production next fall, winter, most likely winter, so that we get something into production again before the next construction season starts. I'm going to stop sharing this document, and I'm going to share my other document. Give me another second. There we go. So what we've got, this just is a better view, I think, of what we've got coming up on our plates. So this is the phase that we're in right now, with our 37 aggregate and bituminous agency views, and then all of our reports. Also happening right along with this, we've currently got an upgrade to our F5, or we're upgrading from a reverse proxy to an F5 component that's used for our people who are logging in externally. So there will be testing going on for that this spring. We are at this point not testing, but we've got the patch 4.2.6 installed in our development environment. We're waiting to get a fix for that so that we can actually test it and use it. But at this point, we're not able to work on reports in development because we need to get this thing fixed. Upcoming, we'll also be testing versions 4.3 and 4.4. And as Charlie told you yesterday, we'll be having an upgrade to 4.4 in December of this year. So that work will be going on right along with the work that we're doing for agency views and reports. And then of course the normal November TMR review and voting. But that's really what's on the plate for now. We've got all of this other work that people have alluded throughout the refresher. We've got additional labs that need to be developed. We've got mobile tester that we need to implement. We would like to incorporate construction field labs, incorporate source labs. There's an independent assurance process, the DSR process, mixed designs, and then ultimately approving a product list. So all of this work also has to be done, and we will be working with the business again to chart out what of these other things is the top priority. How do we want to move into implementing these, and when, and how much time do we think that is going to take to implement? So a lot of work next to come, but right now we are focusing on the aggregate and bituminous slabs. Ron or Gina, do you want to pipe in and add anything else?
Thanks, Karen. I just wanted to make everyone aware that this is a fairly new development. You know, both myself and Karen coming on, we're just trying to get a handle on all this stuff. And so we're going to have to take all this new information and make some decisions. This is quite a change from what was originally handed to us. The whole project was basically supposed to be done at the end of 2021. And now we're looking at just completing this next phase in that same amount of time. So we're going to have to work with upper staff and trying to figure out where we can go. The unfortunate thing is I wish that a bunch of those that were making these decisions had been able to join us for the last 2 days and see the complexity and everything that's involved. When I look at Maria's presentation and I look at that spreadsheet, I wonder how we can get this done in under 10 years. So there's a lot to take in and a lot of decisions to be made, but I wish we were able to definitively say, like when Dave asked the question, when are we going to implement something, and we're just not able to do that at this point, but hopefully we will be in the future here. So Gina, I don't know if you have anything else that you wanted to add.
Well, something else is that you have opportunities as well with the duration, because some of the things at the very beginning of the implementation, when the program was just developed, brand new, just put on the shelf when you guys started fast. And then there's been a lot of functionality that's been added and grown into the system since then too. So some of the things you've been seeing is like more enhancements are included, and also some fixes for some stuff, some software like right off the shelf developed from the user community requirements, and growing and being more stable is giving you an opportunity as well for the duration. So out there. It's been great being a part of this for many years. It's been really, really neat. You guys are doing great. You guys are really good leaders in the agencies here. A lot of hands-on involvement throughout the years. Development of AASHTOWare project. And we do have some comments, and we had a question. It disappeared in front of my eyes. Okay. Yeah. So we do have for Charlie K. Yeah. So for the aggregate and bit test, I guess a suggestion for talking with the DMEs and ask if they want this at different times or at the same time. Good input here. Maybe it might be more confusing with some being documented in AASHTOWare and some in Excel. It's kind of going through that, getting together and talking about what's going to be implemented, you know, like when. And also, Karen, you mentioned like another idea at the end of earlier today too about looking at like a yearly production placement and what would be included in that yearly grouping, you know, production placement too as well. Assess that and see what would be included like for your yearly productions.
Great suggestion.
Yeah. Okay. Yep, we have some information from Dave Christensen from Panelist about it over there as well too. Yep, the question about when relates to our planning for when we'll be using the new module, about not thinking this is something that should be rushed at all. Better to take our time and get it right. Thank you, Dave, for your comments there too. And okay. And it looks like, yeah, and Todd shared a link out there for the AASHTOWareproject.org site for Dave, if you have that, which has resources out there for you to look at, different groups of information. Okay. Great job, Karen. Ron? Okay. So, and also planning what's next, I think something that we're looking at into here, and I've heard it a few times yesterday and today, is looking for resources, looking for people to help, pitch in. I remember when I used to work out in the Missouri DOT, I was a construction inspector. I started out as an inspection assistant, right out of college. And I was, you know, like survey assistant, holding the rod, level, started way out there at the very beginning. But I also had that little techie geeky piece in me. I like those 1, 2, 3 spreadsheets way back when, and I was kind of involved in that. And I went to this CHIPS 96 conference that the Missouri DOT, we went around the districts and we were talking about the software programs, computer automation and materials programs in place. The very first time I heard about transport. I was like, wow, that looks interesting. I think I want to get involved. And I did. And then they were like, hey, we want you to come to headquarters and kind of do this little temporary assignment for 3 months. I'm like, okay. They're like, we're keeping you. We're going to keep you, the state construction engineers. We want you to stay here. And then we started helping other agencies. We started helping Nebraska. We traveled as a Missouri employee. Went to Nebraska and helped them with their training and trained the trainers and helped them. Then we had New Mexico and Louisiana. And so there are many other agencies who started asking us as MnDOT employees, hey, can you help us too? And we're pretty much at the end right there. And we're like, we really want to help other agencies. And so we decided to actually go to work for, I'm saying we as my husband, actually in the other room, go to Infotech and be able to help other agencies implement software. And it has been a passion and a love. But that little inkling of being that person in the office who wanted to help and pitch in, being that little techie person, has grown phenomenally. And it has been very rewarding, just seeing agencies do so well and implement. So if you are one of those people in the offices for looking for resources for these next phases who have that little, hey, that hand that you might want to raise up, I think we've been hearing for the last 2 days that the team's looking for you. A little teary-eyed. So if you have an interest, please reach out. Okay, I don't see any other questions. With that, we have invited Gavin to join here for a minute or two. He has a little something here.
Hey, Gina, can you hear me?
Gavin? Yes, thank you.
Thanks, Gina. So I've been listening in for the past couple of days, kind of multitasking too, to be honest. Charlie introduced me yesterday. I'm the new account manager for MnDOT. Not new to Infotech, been at the company for over 7 years now, but new to Minnesota. I just wanted to say thanks to everybody at MnDOT for taking the time for this. especially thanks to the folks that set this up from Minnesota and Infotech. I thought it was very informative, went very well, and is very encouraging about the future and what the future holds. So thanks, Gina. And I'll go back on mute now.
Thank you. And sounds great. Okay, and open up for any other comments, panelists?
I just wanted to say thank you to everyone. We put this together again as a 30 to 40 person thing, and that grew quite a bit. And I personally have learned a lot, and I want to appreciate and I want to thank everyone that had put effort into getting this done. So thank you very much.
Thank you. And Gail, we have maybe a couple of action items here. You want to wrap us up with that?
There you go. All right. Okay, we actually had 2 action items. The first action item was for the panel, but we need to identify and communicate the location for the refresher presentations and webinar recordings for attendees. The other action item was review DSR and source inspection TMRs, and that was for the team. However, there was communication from Todd that he said he was going to have Charlie and Nicole follow up on that particular action item.
Yep, have that original list there.
Mm-hmm.
So good.
All right, that's all I had.
Okay. Thank you. If anybody else has any others? Oops, we do have a Q&A that popped up. From Bradley. I have caught up a lot as well. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Bradley. Okay. Well, thanks for letting us be a part of this conference, the refresher. And this really turned out to be a really great remote opportunity. First, I think it was going to be, I think it was like 17 or 18 people. And then it grew to like 40 people. And now yesterday there were like 166 some odd people that attended yesterday. I'll find out what the numbers are today. Unique individuals, very much so. Thank you.
Thank you,
Ron, I
everybody.
guess to you. Yeah, thank you.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Stay safe and wash your hands with soap.
Will do.
Thanks.
Give it. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you, Gina, Rachel, Gail.
Thank you too, Nicole.
Yeah,
It was fun.
it was.
It was. That was fun.